up guys, Coolabot.com here. So today I'm gonna be showing you how I changed the wheels of my Vespa GTV and how I'm gonna be restoring my exhaust, which is very bad and corroded. So let's get started. So here are the tools you're gonna need. There is basically only one special tool that I would recommend getting if you're changing your tires in your GT, GTS or GTV, which is an exhaust expander. Because once you remove that clamp, you will need to expand the exhaust again and mostly put a new gasket. So both things are available on the website. We're gonna be also installing the new valve and, very important, a new clip. We will need to have this in hand so to replace the little clip in the cap. 24mm socket, a 17, a T25 Phillips screwdriver, the pliers, an adjustable wrench, an impact, and I have some grease here. And obviously, it's the most important, a torque wrench, so you can put the correct torque mostly into the wheel nuts when you're assembling everything together. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start by removing this cap, which is, if you're not restoring the exhaust like I'm doing, this is not necessary. Bolts with the washers. So I'm gonna put that inside. This is how ugly that looks. I'm gonna repaint that whole thing. 17mm. That was really tight. Hold it. That thing is heavy, man. Clamp here, take it out. Good trash. Take out the new cap. I'm gonna take a rack, put a zip tie into my rear brake so the wheel doesn't spin. Untie. And there we go. The 17 work out the nut, and there's a washer. Move the shock into the side like that. 6mm Allen. There's some washers in there. Carefully loose them. Sometimes when these scooters are old, this gets really stuck. This is stuck. You'll need a special tool to remove it. There's a little trick for that. Is to hammer a little bit the axle. So as you can see, it's kind of working little by little. We keep that napping the axle. Not too hard because you don't want to damage the end of the axle. That's a very expensive part. You don't want to damage that. And slightly, what that's gonna do is gonna generate some shock wave, and it's gonna loosen it. Woo! That was tight. So once you get it out, you want to make sure the bearings are nice and smooth. There is any juggling around, which I thought it was, but they seem to be pretty smooth. So I'm gonna be painting this in black. Also, go ahead and remove the wheel. There we go. You gotta be careful with the shock. You're gonna scratch the rim itself. So you wanna move tooling aside, put your hand against it, push out with the axle too, and there we go. That's how you remove the rear wheel of a GT, GTS, or GTV. Okay, so after removing the rear wheel, we're gonna proceed to remove the front wheel, which is very simple. 6mm Allen key. That's how you remove both wheels. So let's go to the shop. So the next thing will be start sanding down the exhaust. It looks pretty bad, man. These things are heavy. I'm gonna degrease it because I have oil all over it. Sand it down, and we're gonna be repainting it with the exhaust heat resistant paint. These are the old rims. I'm gonna put those baby for sale. They're like brand new. They look beautiful. I'm just changing for a different style. These are original, made by Piaggio. I'm gonna link them down below too if you want them. Very good deal on it. And I'm also gonna be painting this bracket black, so it's nice and hiding. And this is the new city grip tire for the rear wheel, which my current one was pretty bad. We're gonna start restoring this baby. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the old gasket. I'm gonna use a flat screwdriver, thick one. And you just take it out like that. So what I'm gonna try to do now is I'm gonna put some bags inside so I don't get any water inside the exhaust. There we go. So we got both bar back and we're ready for a nice wash. I'm gonna use a little bit of degreaser. Degrease. It let us sit for 3 to 5 minutes. Go with the rack. You don't have to worry about washing it that much because you're gonna be sanding it down anyway. So this bracket, I'm not gonna be sanding down this bracket because you already have a rough texture and there's no really need to, it doesn't have any paint on it or anything. But I'm gonna be also degreasing it, and I'm also gonna be masking around this bearing so I'm not painting the bearing itself. The paint I'm gonna be using is a heat resistant paint. I'm just gonna be using the 80 to remove mostly of the rust. This is basically what we're gonna be using to restore the exhaust. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start mostly where I have most of the rolls. This is how it should look at the end. So try to get as much as the old paint out, mostly in the corroded parts. I went over a little more than you have to, but it's always good to get some texture on. Here in the back I didn't go that much, as you can see, because there's no really need to it. Just went over the roasted parts, remove all the dust from the sanding. Both pieces already dry out, already masked the bearing here with some masking tape in both sides. I just went over and put a tape on top of it and went with my exact around it, and that's it. And this is a screw for the chuck. I already applied the first quote, so just let it dry for 10 minutes to apply the second quote. So now that I have bleaked my both brake, I have everything painted, nice, clean. New wheels on already in the tire. We're gonna proceed and put the cap. Oh, beautiful that looks. I'm gonna go ahead and swap the wheel. I'm gonna go in a cross pattern. Look how beautiful that wheel looks, man. Okay, so we're gonna proceed and install the rear wheel. It's right here. One thing that you wanna be careful with it before you start is with the shock and the axle. You don't wanna be scratching your new rim. So the way to do is you're just gonna slide the wheel off. Make sure you put your hand into the axle so you feel where as far as you can go. So you try to get that axle underneath, and also your shock, you wanna put your hand into the shock and slide the wheel into the axle. That's it. Just get those full starter. Remember to go in a cross pattern. Beautiful wheel. Something you want to do before installing this bracket, I'm going to be using some grease. Tiny bit of grease in there. You don't want to be putting too much because you can end up in your brakes, and that's not cool. Just around the bearings. See how nice slide back and forward. Get the shock starter here. This is the nut for the shock. Right in there. 17 millimeter. You have a torque wrench. This shock is around 30 foot-pounds. Remember to put that washer in there. Once we have locked our wheel, the corrector will be 80 pounds. So you want to go and you swap. It goes into certain positions, and you can slide your new pin. Slide that in there. Grab your needle with the help of spinning the wheel. Next thing will be to put the exhaust. So let's just get this baby ready. Remove the bag that we put on. So we're gonna go ahead and expand the exhaust. So this is why you want to expand your exhaust, because as you can see, it doesn't fit because it wasn't stretched out with the old clamp. So you want to put that, and then with a 80 millimeter socket and a wrench. Put on the new gasket in. You just want to put that gasket with the rough bar facing to the top. A couple of taps. Make sure you check down the description below. I have all those items available in the website. So you just want to get that south clamp. Just put it a little bit facing more down. You want to go ahead and slide that in. Get the screw starter. I'm going to hold the exhaust so you're not putting all the pressure into your bolts. And tight. Now you just want to go ahead and tie your clamp down here. And that's it. That's how you change the wheel of your Vespa GT, GTS or GTV. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that like button and share. See you in the next one.